Hi everyone, today I'm going to briefly talk about how did I Dockerize my Spring Boot app and deploy it to an AWS machine and configure the nginx and configure the HTTPS certificates step by step. I have encountered a lot of issues during the entire process, so I decided to make up a video, and I hope this video can help people that encounter the similar issues. Okay, let's get started. So you can see I have a Spring app which is running locally on my IntelliJ. Let's just go to this app, localhost 8080. Yeah, this is just a very, very simple app, kind of a personal blog. This app mainly contains three parts. The first one is our Spring server, and also I'm using mysql database and the redis cache server. So the next step is we want to Dockerize it, and we need this Docker compose file. So as you can see, we have three parts: mysql DB and Redis and my server and our server. So let's talk through them one after another. So mysql DB is to specify an image. This just tell the Docker engine that, hey, I need a base image, and also some ports configuration. This port 3306 is the default MySQL port. So actually, we can use this just to avoid confusion. But the reality is I have some app, for example, I already installed MySQL on my local machine, so this port has already been taken. So if we use this one, I think the Docker engine will throw error when we start the container. So just to bump it one. We are not using this anyway, just to make Docker engine happy and get our container started. And some environment variables such as password, database. I'm not quite I do not quite care about the security, so just to leave it here. So yeah, this is our database configuration. And the Redis, very similar, ports, base image, and environment. I do not care security right now, so just to make our app run. So make our app running, everything should be fine. So next step is the most important one, is our server. So you can see we also have a port. This is the default Spring Boot port, and it depends on these two services, which is our database and Redis. And also, unlike the MySQL and the Redis, which you can specify the base image, and if you don't have very advanced requirement, you can just use the base image directly. But our server is slightly different. We need to tell Docker how to build our image first. So we need to specify this build entry here, and with the context, with the current folder, and also the Docker file to tell the Docker how to build our image. Actually, so let's go to look at this file. Actually, it's very simple as well. So what this file is doing? It's just to tell Docker that, hey, we need a base image, which is a Linux machine with Java 17 installed, and we specify a working directory. This can be any folder, but I would just put it in the root folder. And then we will copy this file to the base image. So this file is actually our local file, the WAR file in our target. I think here, right? This one. And we will also expose port and just tell Java to run the WAR file. Everything is done. So yeah, you can imagine, you can specify, you can copy the source code to the base image, and also install Maven and run Maven install, and you will have the WAR file. But just to be simple, I will just build the WAR file locally and copy the WAR file to my Docker image, then things are done. Yeah, then it's already configured. I encountered some issues, but eventually I figured it out this way. It looks very simple in the end. So let's try it on our local machine, and let's stop our local server. And we need to build a WAR file first. And before we build the WAR file, we need to tweak something. So currently I'm just manually tweak it. This is for Docker. You can see we cannot use our local MySQL. Here we cannot use this. We need to use our Docker service with the port. Similarly, redis as well. And also, I have another place. Let's try. This one. Let's comment off this one and use the Docker service. Even though I seldom use the flyway maven command, but just to be accurate. And okay, I think we are good. And we can build a WAR file. And the build a WAR file may need some time because we're not only building the Java classes, we're also bundling the front-end code. It just may need maybe 1 minute to complete everything. Yeah, it will kind of using Webpack to bundle all this CSS and the JavaScripts, and our JSP will use those files. Oh, it's much faster. Okay, now we have our WAR file here. And then we can try to build the image and start the container. Let's try it. We are here and we can run Docker. Oh, before that, I would like to briefly talk about if you first time using Docker, you need to install Docker anyway. So go to this documentation. I will put all these links in the video's description. So the Docker documentation is very good, very well written. You can search for the documentation on macOS, on Windows, on Ubuntu. So I'm on Windows, just to go through this documentation to install it, to install the desktop. And on Windows, things might get a little bit complicated because you need to install a subsystem on Linux. But if you're on Windows 10 or 11, things should be smooth in general. So after you install Docker desktop successfully, you should have something like this. And if you go to your command line, you can just verify it with Docker version and Docker Compose version. I think Docker Compose is installed along with your Docker desktop. Yeah, things should be fine. And now we can try Docker Compose build. This will just build our Spring app image. Okay, things are good. And then we can try Docker Compose up. This Docker Compose up will just go to, because we already built our image, and Docker Compose up will just go to this YAML file and start this container, and finally start this container. So let's try it. Okay, we successfully start our app. So let's try here to refresh it. Yes, things worked. Of course, this we are using different database, so it's not the same as we started locally in our IntelliJ, but this one is actually from our Docker container. Things looks pretty good right now. So next step is we would like to kind of host it in an AWS machine. How to do it? Firstly, we need to have an instance. And actually, there are many other ways. For example, if you have already Dockerized your app, you can use AWS Elastic Beanstalk, which is just for Docker deployment purpose, and it is very, very good. And I also watched another video on YouTube. I will also link it in the description as well. That video also talk about how to deploy your app by the Elastic Beanstalk, which is a very good video as well. But today I'm going to do everything kind of manually. I feel like that's a little bit more, we might have more control. So before we do that, we need to have instance. We can have EC2 instance, we can also have a Lightsail instance. Personally, I would prefer Lightsail. The main reason is it's cheaper. So let's go here. So we create instance, Lightsail, OS only, Ubuntu, configure everything, the price. So the similar specification, 2 GB memory, 1 CPU on EC2, it will cost about $15 per month, but on Lightsail just $10. But you can also choose EC2 because EC2 is more well known, and there should be no much difference between them, especially for a simple web app. If you have other special requirements, maybe EC2 might be better, but just for simple web app, Lightsail totally suffice. So yeah, let's try that as well. Select a region. Yeah, this one looks good. Let's create a new instance. Yeah, I will just use the default SSH key. Okay. Let's just do test. New test. Okay, let's create instance. Oh, this one. Yeah, just give it some time to start, but we need this IP address, and you also need to download your key first. When you create it, I should bring this about. Yeah, let's just give it some time to fully start and download the certificate. Download the SSH key. Okay, here, manage, download default key. Yeah, you can download it here. I already downloaded it, but I want to mention one thing. I already downloaded and I put it here because it's a default region key. All my instances will be using the same region key. But I want to mention that after you download it, you cannot use it directly because the permission is too broad. The Amazon will, or the AWS will complain. You need to change mode of this file. On Linux, you can just use a chmod 400 of this file, but on Windows, the SideWin doesn't work for me. So my approach is just to go to the properties and go to the security, remove all the other users and the groups, just to only keep yourself here. Then things should be working. Otherwise, you always have this error on your console. Okay. Now we can SSH to this new instance, but we need our IP here. So the command is actually very simple. I already put it here. So this is our regional key. So we go to our console. Yeah. Yes. Okay, we are in. And then we need to install Docker on this machine because this machine don't have any Docker installed yet. So how do we install Docker on Ubuntu? There is this documentation here, which this is Docker Compose. Yeah, this is the Docker, how to install Docker engine. Yeah, let's go through them one by one. Using the repository, okay. Okay, things are done. And we also need this. Yes. And next, Docker key. Okay. Docker engine. Set up repository. Okay, let's just run them according to the documentation. Install the Docker engine. Okay. Yeah, we didn't encounter any errors, so probably we can skip this. Latest version, yeah, we want latest. Yes. Okay. And seems things are done, but actually they are not, because we need to have another step here. Otherwise, they will have some error. So here we need to have add our user here. Our user is Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Okay. Okay. And then we need to reboot our instance. Okay, let's reboot it. But yeah, let's install Docker Compose and then we reboot it. Because unlike the Windows desktop, the Docker and Docker Compose are kind of separate. We need to install this as well. And before we run this, let's go to the release page, find the latest version here. Yeah, copy this first and change the version. Okay, let's try. Yeah, I think I encountered this before. I feel like it's not downloading anything. Should we put V here, I suppose? Yep. Okay, let's run it again. The compose version. Nice. Now we have Docker and Docker Compose ready, and let's reboot our machine. Okay, we're back. So now we can create our image and also start the Docker container. But before we do that, let's copy our WAR file to our instance, because we need a WAR file to create the image. So let's stop our instance, and we need this command to copy our WAR file to. Let's replace the IP address here. I think before I do that, I need to create a folder first. What is the path? Apps blog glue target. Blog glue. Okay, let's copy. Okay. Sorry about my slow internet. Yeah, after this is done, I think we can run our Docker container, and then we will be able to visit our app by a public IP address. Okay, things are good. So let's go to blog glue. And now, yeah, let's just double check. Okay. Oh, by the way, we also need our Docker file and Docker Compose file. Yeah, those are very important as well. Docker Compose. Yeah, copied here. And we also need our Docker file. Docker file service. Yeah, Docker file server. Also copied to the blog glue folder. Okay, now let's try Docker Compose build, just like we did on our local machine. Docker Compose build. Okay. Okay, then let's try docker compose up. Yeah. Yeah, the first time it needs to pull the image and start the container. Just need some time. Okay, our app seems started. Let's try to visit it. Let's go to this IP address. I think it will not work, but yeah, let's just try it. HTTP 8080. It won't work because we didn't expose the 8080 port. So let's go to the networking. You can see we only have SSH port and HTTP port. Let's add another port, 8080, create. Now I think this should work. Let's try. Nice, it worked. So you may be wondering, I don't like this 8080 port. I want to get rid of it. Yes. So next step is we are going to install nginx on our Lightsail instance, and then we can easily bypass this 8080 port. Because yeah, you can change it in your Spring app. You can use the 80 port, but nginx server is much better. It will be very flexible. If you have other services on your instance, you can dispatch all the traffic to different apps. So yeah, let's install nginx. So let's go back to our instance, and we can stop it for now. And let's install nginx. I already have this documentation here, installing nginx. I will put all these resources in the link as well. Okay. Install nginx. Yes. Okay, and let's verify it. Yeah, we have the correct result. Okay, the next step is we need to configure our nginx. How do we do that? I think we can go to the etc nginx. Okay, so here is after you install nginx, the configuration is looking like this. Let's take a look at nginx config. I think this is the entry point of all the configuration. So it have many configurations, and I think if we look at this, it will include the customized configuration in these two places. So sites enabled. Let's go back. I think sites enabled is a kind of a symbol link to sites available. So let's go to sites available first. They have default. So let's modify this. So you can see, listen to the 80 port and doing some stuff. What we are going to do is we're going to redirect every traffic, network traffic, to our Spring Boot app, which is on 8080. So we will copy paste this. Location. Oh. So these are just adding the forward header, but the most important one is, I'll just make some indentation. Most important is this one. Okay, let's try to save it. And we can also verify if everything is working fine on nginx. We have this command. Let me find it. Okay. Yeah, seems everything is good. Let's restart nginx. Okay, now let's go back here and remove this bad gateway. Maybe nginx. I made a huge, very stupid mistake that I stopped my container, so actually the app is not running. But after I started the app, now yeah, we can totally, our nginx server is working fine. It bypass all the 80 traffic to our 8080 app, 8080 port app. So everything works fine. And I think now we can even remove this. Yeah, also remove this. Okay, so the next step is we want to have our own domain and set up HTTPS certificate for our own domain. To do that, this might require some purchase because you need to have your own domain as well. I'm using Namecheap, so I have my domain, but I would like to briefly show how to configure this. If you have your own domain, you can do the similar thing as I did. So firstly, we need to map the IP to our, where is our IP? Okay. I'm going to delete this and add a new record, a record, address record. I'm just to name it bloglu my domain and use the new IP and save it. And honestly, I'm going to, yeah, I'm not going to change these two. Yeah, I'm hesitating. Yeah, I'm just going to only use this. Okay, we have this now, and we go back to our instance, and then we can install certbot. this is a kind of a free tool to generate HTTPS certificate. You also need to renew it probably every 3 months, but it is free. Okay, let's go here and install it. Okay, everything's done. Now we need to generate our certificate. And before we do that, we have to stop all our nginx server. Service stop. Okay. And then let's generate our certificate here. You can see here I have my root domain also here, but I'm not going to generate these. Just only generate bloglu.uticast.com. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, have to enter my email because I think after several months it will send you an email that saying, hey, please renew your certificate. Agree. No. Important notes. Yeah, it's successfully generated. So it's actually put in this folder, and then we can configure our nginx to use this certificate for HTTPS traffic. So how do we do that? We still need to go to nginx. I think it should be in sites available. Okay, I think we need. Yeah, let's use this. I'm going to use vi, and this should be bloglu.uticast.com, right? Yes, everything seems good. Yeah, but before we do that, let's copy these 2 lines as well. And in here, we are going to use this configuration. You can see it's kind of similar, but it kind of listens to 80 and also 443, which is SSL port, and specify the name, server name, and also if it's not HTTPS protocol, it will redirect to HTTPS, and also forward everything to our Spring Boot app. But I think, yeah, because this configuration is copied from my previous server configuration, so it's slightly different. Bloglu, yeah, we need to add bloglu here. bloglu.uticos.com. bloglu.uticos.com. Okay, things should be fine. And then we need to have a link to the sites enabled. What's going on here? Let's copy again. Okay, and then let's restart our nginx. Let's run this check first. Yeah, seems everything's fine. And restart. Okay, now let's go here and let's HTTP. Yeah, let's try HTTP first. Bloglu. Oh, I see why. Yeah, that's always the issue. So let's go back to the networking. So you can see we never expose our HTTPS port. So let's add another rule here. HTTPS. Yeah, create. Okay, things should be working. Let's try again. Yeah. So now we have successfully deployed, Dockerized our app and deploy it to AWS machine, and also set up nginx and also set up HTTPS certificate. The only issue is probably you can have some jobs on your machine and renew your certificate, but you can also manually do that. Yeah, I think that's basically the main content of this video. There might be some other issues I missed, but I think in general, I kind of work from the beginning to the end, and hopefully this video will help you if you want to deploy your own app to AWS. Thank you very much.